some boys who are not coming from an academic house, academic home. So there's a difference probably in their behavior and their way of adapting things, learning things. So
right, but I think parents' background should not influence.
No, it shouldn't be influencing, but it's like sometimes for the employer it's interesting. It's not an important point. So we do it so they have an idea what kind of
like the statements. Because in India, your family background, matters a lot. If you're from, if you're just.
Okay, so here it doesn't matter.
Series, this is the chat.
Okay.
Question answer. So you have to permitted a chat. No.
So how do I know if somebody is asking a question?
They will raise a hand. You will see the one hand.
Oh.
Or this is a question answer. So you will see your.
You're already broadcasting it.
Yeah.
Already live.
Yeah.
So we need to behave.
Yeah, you need to behave. But you will know when the participant is coming.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Extracurricular activities. Is it called like this? Like having hobbies?
Yeah.
Extracurricular?
No. Yeah, activities.
Is it like, am I spelling it right? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah.
That's fine for you.
Okay, so so what exactly when you say that the kind of work they did, what did you do exactly? Your duties. So you want them to explicitly mention
what you did. For example, when I was working in a lawyer office, I did these kind of laws, like this kind of areas, law areas, special areas, for example, or I was most of the time drafting, or I was most of the time writing some whatever. Like if you did some special work in that work.
Right, but actually most of the internships that Indian students do is that they go to a lawyer and they just run behind them.
You have a 4 attendants.
Really? Because when in my time
4 people are watching. No, 5. No, they are coming there. So you can. It's a 15 minutes.
But they can actually hear us.
Yeah, yes, and can see.
They can see us.
They can see us now and hear us now.
Yeah, both.
They can totally see you sitting here.
Okay, we cannot go on. We should we need the room for it right now.
Yeah.
Listen, okay.
I'm just kidding. Okay, so finally with this, so this is something that you could talk a little bit more.
Yeah. No, well, not like more, but because it's a resume, so it's on paper.
And also, should your resume should actually reflect kind of, and as I suppose the Rosman legal goal is actually looking to hire somebody, right? So do your resume should reflect to their interest, as in like the kind of work they're doing? Should you tweak your resume like that?
This is something you should put in the cover letter.
So the cover letter, when do we talk about this?
The what? The what?
The cover letter that you put up.
Yeah, I think we should like between this, yes. And this is the presentation.
Take out over here.
What are we tracking?
No, this is actually my content loss. Just set them out. अभी आप किस में जा रहे हैं? आप कब तक आ जाओगे? आप सीधे वॉलीबॉल की बात याद? हाँ, मैं आपको आगे करूँ.
I think we'll look into the camera when we talk, right?
No.
Try to do it. Sometimes you look.
You're going to be here, right, with us?
Yeah, that's not beginning with that. It's a little bit time.
Okay, so.
And Archana will be watching over there. So if there is any problem, she will inform. So if there is no voice, as I'm sending a message, it will start. So you can, if you want to say anything, It's good.
Raise hands too. Raise a few hands. Like how do we see that who is raising hands?
Yeah, it will pop up.
Actually. Okay, with respect to presentation skills. But I don't think we need a PowerPoint presentation when you actually implement it.
No, but I thought presentation skills means like not only an interview, and I thought it meant presentation in general, like personal, and if you have to do it in front of people.
Oh.
For example, when you're hired, it's part of the business.
Let me see how you.
Or how did you?
I'm watching on your.
Just one question.
Another computer.
Just one question. The presentation skills, which you want me to talk about, is it the presentation skills in the interview, or is it in general? Like if you do a PowerPoint presentation.
You can take it a little bit far.
So we first focus on presentation skills in the interview, and then also talk about
Yeah, as a professional. It's just borderline thing. It's not for only the individuals.
More things down.
I think we're good, right?
It's your father.
Huh?
It's your father.
And then
I'm gonna meet your wife.
oh yes.
So what kind of like personal presentation skills you have here in India? Is there anything special? Yeah, I'm thinking about what kind of special presentation things you have. Yeah.
So we can start now.
Oh, okay.
Sit. हाँ इसमें किसको आता है कि आपका जो ब्रॉडकास्ट होगा वो 30 सेकंड लेता है दूसरे को सुनाई देने में।
अच्छा,
तो क्वेश्चन थोड़ा सा ज्यादा है तो उन लोगों के कनेक्शन स्लो होते हैं जो व्यूअर होते हैं।
so we first introduce you. So I need your full name. Sarah?
T-E, like not T-A.
T-A-T-O. Okay.
Yeah, it's like with this one, it's about.
Okay.
So T.
Thomas.
It's maybe hard to pronounce, so you can say Thomas one. So,
Thomas man is good. T-A. Thomas. Tom. Tom.
You can say Thomas one, like just pretend it's a Thomas one. Yeah.
Hello everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to the Inba person.
Inba.
Yeah. Welcome to the Inba Academy.
Watching.
It's better from what So did you check it out? Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to try.
We are discussing interview tips.
We are discussing.
I'm going to inform you that we have the adjustment from Alexander. The Alexander.
No, Alexander.
Alexander. From China. Head of the, let me say, yeah, officers.
Serious? No, yes. It's only 2 minutes.
All the students is very important to get an idea of this. It's very interesting. We starting like 3 minutes. It's showing 10:57.
Where's the show?
Participant is available.
9 participants.
So when does it start?
It depends on who is listening to you.
And how do we know if they're going to listen to us?
They're listening to us.
They're listening to us.
They are watching to you. And participants are watching you as well.
Achha.
Some may only hearing you.
Okay,
So it will show you who are in the video.
Oh, all the participants go there. Can I see their videos?
Yeah.
I can see their faces.
Yeah.
Who are the attending?
Yeah, you can. If they have a camera, and it will show only the number.
Then
it will show you the to whom you can see. Basically, 10% if they have their own good video.
okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, if they don't have a video in their computer, you can see them as a participant. So number will be technically higher.
Can I hear them?
Yeah.
I don't hear them now.
No, you can't hear them.
How do I hear them?
You're supposed to add.
Then I can see them.
Yeah, you can see that.
No, let's add all of them.
Okay.
Here also.
So when someone raised a hand,
Yeah.
so what are we doing now? We don't know what to do.
How do raise hands? How do we do that?
You will see. You are not supposed to raise it. But
There's a raised hand there.
it will come this side.
It will come this side. Okay.
So are we starting?
Okay. So question answers clear? Where do we get the questions? Pose the questions. That will pop up, right?
No. You are supposed to question answer. When you click this, it will allow and show to the participant they can ask the questions.
Okay, we'll do this after this.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. Let's get started.
Yes.
Hello, hi everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Inba Academy. Inba Academy is basically the full form of the Indian National Bar Association Academy. Today we are discussing the business and interview etiquettes along with resume drafting and presentation skills. And I'm honored to inform you all that we have with us Clara Thomasman from Alexander and Partner from a law firm in Germany and Qatar, to discuss with us how German employers looking to hire Indian talent or Indian lawyers and what they're looking forward to the Indian students, as well as Indian legal practitioners and other business people who are actually interested in working in Germany. Without wasting much time, I would ask, there's more going to be a question and answer session where I'm going to ask questions to Clara, who is us today, and should be answering. In case if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and we are happy to take more questions after our entire webinar. At the end, we'll be having a question and answer session. At first, let me ask Clara, how are you today?
I'm totally fine. I'm great. I feel great being here. It's like a new experience for me, visiting India, and I feel great also in this nice law firm and having nice colleagues. So we're about to start about the business etiquette in Germany. Like if you come to Germany, it's very important to master the rules, because if you master the rules, you have a lot of self-confidence. And if you have self-confidence, you can be easily recognized as a competent person. Like you have another, like you enter the room and you're self-confident, so it's a good sign. Also, like having control over the contemporary etiquette means that you are in a state of personal confidence, which makes you having an easier deal with every situation that comes. So let's start with the first impression. If you enter the room, like you meet another business partner, you enter the room, it's the first impression, like he sees you from a few meters. What's your clothes? Like the clothes, the style you have. You should have iron clothes. You always should wear, of course, a shirt and a suit. Like I can imagine for you guys, it's normal also here. If you meet a business partner that you like are in a good style. So the second impression which you have, because the partner comes closer to you, is the verbal and non-verbal conversation. So for example, when you step up to the partner, smile to him, talk in a normal voice, don't scream at him. And if you're the one like entering the room, you give the hands first. You start to give the hand to the from range higher person. Normally in Germany it's like this, if there are two persons of the same academic grade, for example, you start to give the hand to the woman first, always the woman and then the man, always depending. But if there is the boss and the secretary, of course, you give the boss first the hand and then the secretary. So you introduce yourself with your name, your entire name, and it doesn't matter how many persons are in the room, you always say your full name from one person to the next person. Don't forget to keep in mind how to address the person, depending on the academic grade, of course. Listen to the other, start with some small talk, like how are you, how was your flight, how was your whatever, the weather today is awful. So just to loosen up the situation a little. always stand and sit in an open position. That means don't shrink your arms, don't cross your arms like this, because that means from the other partner you like try to hide something or you're not okay with the situation. So have an open position. Like it would be a nice hack to sit in the same position as the other one does. Like for example, if the other one is crossing the leg like this, you could also do it. It's a mental thing. Like you try to have the same posture as the other one. What else? Of course, the first meeting of another business partner would contain that you exchange your cards. So you take your card out, as for me, as for example, right now, take the card out, showing here you can see, this is the nice side, here's my name on it. So you show this side, you give it like this, and then you turn it, you can show the name. You also get the card of the other, study it carefully, look at the one. If you have a question, let the other one explain, and please don't put the card like away or in the pocket of your pants or something. Like leave it in the hand or put it somewhere like in the jacket here or here, so that it's going to be a nice impression. And of course, yes, like if you're going to end this short conversation, if it's a short conversation, thank you for the interview, thank you for the talk, thank you for the conversation, it was nice meeting you, it was a pleasure or something. So this is normally in German, like always smile, give the hands, say bye to everyone, thank everyone for this nice conversation. So yeah, this is about the first impression. Are you having any questions?
Oh, good, Clara. I really appreciate it. I think you have highlighted on very important points that many of the students actually miss out on. You really need to know whom to approach first, whether woman or man, in the interview room, and you also need to distinguish between a secretary and the boss. Although it will sound really weird when you shake a hand with the secretary and not with the boss.
Exactly.
At the same time, I totally agree with you that clean, iron clothes are very important. Make the first impression. As one of my friends the other day, he said that the 30 seconds rule greatly applies. What the first impression that you make, it carries on forever for the rest of the life. Yeah, I mean, I would like to know, like, what do you do? Like, one of the business etiquettes is that you interact with the person, you carry on the conversation. How do you carry that on further? I mean, after the whole deal is over, do you do any networking or anything?
Yeah, network, like being in business contact with a person, the network is one of the most important things here. Because like you making a contact with one of the persons is one thing, but like keeping the contact up for a long period, like depending if you're from different countries or whatever, try to keep that contact. So this is the best way to keep contact is through network. Network means, of course, you like send emails, you call, like sending emails, for example, just for occasion, like, how are you? It was nice talking to you, it was a nice impression. Thank you for the information about your office or your work or whatever you do. I would like to ask you this, or I would like to inform you that here are the changes in our office, this and this. And also, you can phone the other, if you know the birthday of the other, of course, you can call or
You can.
So,
Clara, I have one quick question. Sorry,
yes.
One quick question. Since you mentioned about business cards earlier, I totally understand that people who are professionals who are working might be carrying some business cards, right? So when you're going for networking, probably you introduce yourself like, hey, I'm working here, and so and so place. You have some issues to deal with, common interests, etc. You talk about with other business partners, etc. But what if you're a student? Do you suggest that students also carry a business card with them?
I think a business, it's not common as a student to have a business card because it says you don't have a business. So as a student, if you have one, of course, like you have something, like a side job you're doing, then of course you can do this, but normally I would say you don't need it. Like just be yourself, explain what you do in your time, your extra time, your other job that you do. You don't need a card for this.
You don't. So the German employers do not expect students to do that.
No, not at all.
But otherwise, if you're a professional, even if you're an independent practitioner,
yes,
they do expect you to have a business card.
Yes. This would always be nice because then you have a clearer view about who is the person you're talking to, what is the grade and so on. So talking about network, if you like trying to keep the contact by emails, letters, and by phone, it's also very important to organize seminars, to hold seminars, to be the host to seminars, and also try to do as many, like to hold a speech on as many seminars as possible, like all over the globe. Try to attend seminars and like explain people about your work, try to hold nice speeches there so everyone knows you, you leave a nice impression. Invite people, of course, to your office, be a good host to people from other countries. Be respectable, be cautious. Yeah, and once you do a seminar or you invited someone, be aware of the discussion topics. Like there are some certain discussion taboos. For example, talking too quick about private stuff. And there are some discussion topics like politics and stuff, depending like how the situation is and where the other person is coming from. But always, like, if you have some discussions, always try to show that you're a culture, that you have some extra knowledge about other things also, not only about the work, but for example about opera, about art. It's always nice to like have a little extra contact. There's a point where you share the interests. Like between business partners, it's great not to talk only about the business, but to talk about something else, like movies or anything, which makes a personal contact, so that you can see that you're talking on, that you can have that you have a connection, to say it like this. So yeah.
Wonderful. Clara, I totally see the point. Are you suggesting that people should not think that they're just talking to a business partner, hoping that they're going to land up with a job, etc.? I mean, they should not treat each and every interaction as an interview, but they should treat it as an interaction. They should have a communication. They should be able to connect, right? And they could connect with informal information, but at the same time, I totally agree with you that they should not get personal, right? I mean, unless you know the person is not your close friend, right? To get personal information.
Yes.
So great. Shall we quickly talk about interviews? Since
is there
anything that you want to talk about business etiquette?
That would be one thing I would like to mention before we go to the interview etiquettes, which is if you have a business partner. I mean, you're from the same. You have both have a business, an office or something, and you got into a conversation. So if you're trying to have a good dialogue about something, and a good negotiation or something with the partner, you're trying to win. Always be aware of a few things. For example, if you are having a dialogue with a partner and you're trying to win the dialogue, trying to win the negotiation, make sure that the situation you're in, the room or everything is comfortable for the other partner. The talks which are going to have, that when you start the conversation, you make the other partner comfortable by talking about something familiar to him. And always know where you want to go to. Like if you start a conversation, you have to know exactly, okay, where do I want to end this conversation? You have to have a target, a special target. And have patience, like especially when you come to Germany and like you don't know the culture so much, be very well prepared, like about the culture and everything, and about the partner, about the business, of course, and have patience while you talk. Like, negotiation takes some time, even in Germany. So yes, interview etiquette. This is especially for students who would like to come to Germany and work there or like get employed in Germany. So as he said before, you don't have much time to convince the other partner that you're the perfect person to get hired. So the first impression counts a lot. So you got invited to the interview, so that means that you already you are seen positive by the employer. Like he already read your resume and your cover letter, so he's deciding like, okay, this person is quite interesting. I want to get a closer view on that person. I want to know personal. So
Clara, before you get into more details about first impression, etc., and our latest, etc., I would like to ask you one quick question. I mean, we have so many students graduating every year, and I'm sure at the same time, in addition to student, we also have people who are already working with a couple of firms, or they're working in a couple of organizations, might be looking for more opportunities, right? So where exactly would you suggest the students should look for job advertisements, etc., especially in case if they're looking to work in Germany?
In Germany, yes. Right. As from my point, I can say there are some, like the social network, of course. There are some nice websites, pages where you can type in what your interest is, what you studied, and then the area and where exactly, and then you get like kind of alert if there's anywhere a free job. For example, I can recommend Stepstone, which is nice, or Monster. These are websites where I was searching. Like I got daily emails with like 20 job offers because I typed in, okay, I'm a lawyer, or I want to be a lawyer, so show me any lawyer office around the area of Hamburg, Bremen, whatever in Germany. So I would say the internet is a nice way. Yes. Yeah. Also, if you know some people from your family or like friends who have
probably get in touch with your professor, the university, or the university career department.
Yes.
There's a career development department that they have, or private recruitment agencies are there suggesting.
Exactly. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So please continue with your what you're telling us about interview.
So interview tickets. Just imagine you're going to Germany. You want to get hired. You have the first interview with your employer. Same as with the business etiquettes, the first impression is the most important. So as I said before, Claudius, smile, have a distance. Of course, don't go too close, like 1 arm length is the perfect distance. Germans don't like to be so close. So yeah, introduce yourself, listen carefully, and please, people, work on your accent. It's very important that you have clean English. Like in Germany, it's not required that you talk German. Have a nice, slow talking, clean accent. Open gesture, of course, as I told you before, the body posture of the other one. Try to adopt the behavior of the other one. Like, look at the other one carefully and just see, okay, how is he behaving in this area? So you know exactly, okay, how should I behave? How is he talking to other people? How am I talking to other people? And to the interview, I would like to show you a few details, or go into a few details. Before you have the interview, inform yourself about the company you are going to work in. That means search on the internet and know everything about this company. When was it established? Who are the people there? Which are their position? And what is the company doing exactly? Because in the interview, the employer might ask you a lot of questions about that. Like he is expecting you to know everything about the job you want. And the second thing, be aware of your own strength. He might ask you, for example, he might ask you like 30 questions. So one of those questions is for sure, what would be the reason we hire you? Why should we hire you? So
So you're saying that the employer would basically ask, why should I hire you?
Exactly, and you have to be aware of what you can do about yourself. For example, say I'm so ambitious, I have the knowledge, I can show you this, I can do this. It's not about that you talk about yourself, how great you are, but yet you have to show them why are you so important, and that there's no way he cannot hire you. Because you fit exactly in that company, and you're like,
well, I'm the best.
No, not the best. Well, of course, tell them that you're the best, but tell them in different words. Like, tell it around the corner. Like, just go, show him why it would be so nice to have you, because you will bring the company to another level. You will be like very good working and have some new ideas, fresh ideas. Just give them the feeling that he needs you. And the second point is, he will also ask you about your weakness. So it's strange, like telling someone about the weakness you have. You don't want to say something negative about yourself, because that means you're not going to be hired. But it means also that you have to. He wants you to show to him that you are aware of everything yourself, like even your weaknesses. For example, then don't start saying like, I'm getting angry easily or something, or whatever, I don't wash my hands after I went to the toilet. No, that's not what I mean. I meant like, you can say, oh, I'm too ambitious sometimes, or I do things too carefully sometimes. Like you something which is negative, but it's not really negative. Okay, so look on that one.
I did try that once and totally worked.
Yeah.
So I'm very ambitious, and it's due spend a lot more hours in the office trying to make sure that each and everything is rightly done. And I said, like, I go to the very minute details, and my whole thing is like, you're just picking on very small thing, but I want to make sure that everything is correct and that there's no problem with the end. But yeah, I think it's totally worked.
So, and the last point is, which also you should know, like in the interview detail, have a hobby, like have an extracurricular activity. do something beside the job interest that shows the employer that you have another ambition somewhere, like tennis, like painting, like going to a theater, anything. Like it's nice that if most employers, depending also on the company, but most employers really like it if the employee has a work-life balance, a life after work, that he's not only living for the work, but he has a balanced mind, and that he's doing some sport. For example, sport is a great thing. Do sports people, and then show the employer that you are also like having interest in that.
Right. I mean, sports is a great thing because it gives a very positive side of the person. But at the same time, I think people should not tell something they really do not do. Just for the sake of the interview. If they say, well, I watch movies, which are like, documentaries, and probably the partner there
Which one?
has gone. You might probably say, did you watch this? And, you might probably, you might probably get stuck in that question. So you might want to make sure that, you actually are really interested in those hobbies.
Yeah.
You actually do, so that you can talk about it when you want.
Exactly.
Clara, I have a few other questions. It's possible that in each and every interview, it's not possible for me to know the answer for each and every question, right? What if I do not know an answer to a question? How do I deal with it?
It's the most important thing is to stay natural, stay calm, don't get too nervous with the questions. But if there's a case that you don't have an answer, just be sympathetic and be honest about it. Like, don't freak out. Just like say like, oh, I'm so sorry. At the moment, I don't have an answer. Right now, I don't know the answer. I'm nervous. Like, I'm sorry. So it's no problem. You cannot know everything, depending on the question, of course. If it's a personal question, it's another thing. But just be yourself. Try to be yourself. Try to be natural. Don't freak out. Just stay calm, and then you say, I'm sorry. Right now, I don't have an answer.
Can I say, well, I can get back to you after doing my research?
Yeah.
Would that make a good impression on that?
Well, in the interview, I think later research will not be needed then. Yes.
Okay. Great. Well, I think most of the students are, like job seekers these days, are a little bit confused, with the fact that whether they should ask the employer for the salary packages. I mean, sure, they've seen that and they have a general idea, but with their resume, either they're underqualified or overqualified, etc., etc. And they might be having their own expectations, but should they ask about? Should they discuss about salary packages with a prospective employer?
Not in the interview. Like if the topic comes up from side of the employer, like he's asking, most employers ask, what would you like to earn, for example? What would be your salary? Like if you made up your mind about this.
Your partners tend to ask this tricky question at the same time.
Yes. So it's always nice in Germany. It's always nice to give them an idea about like between this and this number, like not an exact number, but like a salary from here to there. But if the topic doesn't come up, don't mention it. Only mention it when he's going to hire you. Like if he's calling you saying, I want to hire you, then you can ask, like, can we talk about the salary package? But in the interview, and you don't know, because it can also be that you will not be hired, so don't mention it at all.
So I totally agree with the fact that people should not actually ask how much will you pay me. So we could probably politely ask them after they've been recruited, after the employer.
Exactly.
But they should politely ask them, could we now discuss about the salary package?
If he could be saying to you, I would like to hire you, then you can ask.
But even at the time when you ask, you should not ask like how much do.
No, you can say like, as you said, let's talk about can we have a talk about the salary package? Can I ask you a question about that? So like around the corner.
That's wonderful. And also, this is I think that most of the employees are, when you're sitting in an interview room, you basically doing a conversation, as I said earlier. But at the same time, how do you connect with the employer? And to what extent should I connect with an employer? Should I keep it extremely professional, and can I get a little personal? And what do you exactly mean, by saying that we need to personally connect with the employer?
Don't ever ask any employer anything. Only like if you have a real important question about the company or something which you didn't find on the internet before. Don't ever ask anything personal. Don't ever ask at all. Let the employer ask you. And after the interview, if you have a little small talk, of course you can tell something about yourself, you can tell something about your family, but also keep it distant. Like as long as you're not working there, just try to keep everything very distant. You can say something like, "Oh, my dad is an art historian. He like paintings also." For example, yes, in my extracurricular activities, I do I do tennis, I do soccer. Are you playing soccer? Did you see the last match? So this is something you could discuss after the interview, but in the interview, don't ask, and for sure, don't ask personal questions. And as I said, like have a distance, sit there, relax, and smile, and have the same posture as the other one. Don't be like strange with the arms like this or just feel comfortable. Wear comfortable clothes so that you also seem comfortable and seem natural, and that you like there's a nice you can feel the atmosphere. Like you know exactly when the atmosphere is uncomfortable or not. So try to create a good atmosphere.
Great. This recently I came across a gentleman whom I was interviewing, and he looked very confident. He looked like a very good candidate to hire, but unfortunately we could not hire him. And there was another candidate who seemed like he could work hard, and he showed enthusiasm that he wanted to learn. So we went with the candidate, but I see that there is a small difference here between the first candidate and the second candidate. The first candidate, when I saw him, looked like he was in financial distress, right? He looked like on his face, though he's trying to put up a lot of confidence at the same time. He talked about his financial problems, etc. So, his mother is sick in the hospital. He has a daughter to get married. He has other sisters for whom he has to make savings for her marriage, etc. So, I mean, it kind of gave a negative sense on that. But what do you think about that? I mean, do really German employers think about that? About discussing financial problems?
Yeah, as I said, talking about personal problems in the interview is a bad thing. Don't do this because the reason or the purpose of an interview would be that you want the job because you think the best for the job. You want to like help the entity, the company to rise. You want to show your work. So show the employer that you have interest in his work, in his company. You're like a fan of that company. You want to be there because you know that you are the best of them for them. So if you come up with financial problems, or my mother is sick and I need money, or my daughter or whatever, it shows that you can take any job. You just want the money. Don't show that you just want the money. You want to be there not because of the money. You want to be there because of the great company.
And the position that you're being offered.
Exactly.
And part of this is recently many students and many other colleagues have asked me this question. It's possible that in an interview you connected with the employer greatly. You both are like Pinga. We both know each other so well. But right after the interview, can you ask a question like, "Hey, am I hired?" Because you see that you have done a very good personal equation with the employer. You think that you're very close to getting the job. You know it. You feel it. There's a positive vibe between you both. But do you ask such a question?
No, never. Don't ever ask, "Am I hired?" Leave it. Like if the employer doesn't say anything after the interview, you might ask like, "How are we both remaining now? Like, will you give me a call or will you send me a letter so that I know like what I can expect?" But normally just like he's gonna tell you, "Okay, so we're gonna like come back to you later." So wait for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, and if there's not coming anything, you're not hired. And if there's coming something, congratulations. So then you're hired probably. So just
probably there's some look for there's some information that's coming from the employer.
Exactly.
You probably look forward to it and you carry on the communication of the interview.
And if there's not, then I mean you can of course like after 3 or 4 weeks you can call and ask, "Okay, so is there anything new, or did you forget about me?" But mostly, if he's not calling again, you're not hired. So just leave it and try to search for another job.
Recently, there's also a situation that I've come across when people, when the employer is basically asking, the candidate, the prospect when he's interviewing, he asks them, "Do you have any questions for us?" Right. So it's interesting that the employer is asking the employee, "Do you have any questions for us?" So when he says that, probably he's expecting that you know his firm, or you want to know something about the firm, or there's something that you've done research about, or you're keenly interested. There's something that I'm actually interested in. Right?
As for me, I normally say no until now. Until that point, I don't have any further questions. So I could also not. I mean, I think this is just a question just to make sure that there's no topic left
Okay.
on the table.
So you don't ask questions like.
It's not like ask something now about the company, because he like expects you to know everything about the company. So.
Very good. That, I mean, there's already a
Yes.
understanding that you already have done your research and
Exactly.
And so when there is an interview taking place and the interview is almost over, how do I exit the interview?
Yeah, of course, I'll leave the room in a normal way and just walk outside. Don't like. So no, I'm just joking. Thank you for the interview, of course. It was a pleasure meeting you. Yeah, don't.
I think those exits also make you leave an impression.
Yes,
the moment you
exactly.
enter the way, you leave.
In Germany, as I said, have a distance forward, like the hand, give the hand, smile, say thank you. It was a pleasure, and yeah, like this is a common rule, as you know, like always be gentle. So.
And whenever you're giving the handshake, you're a very firm handshake. Just
a firm hand, yeah, not too like I mean, I can imagine you're nervous, but like it's a strong handshake, like so that he knows that you're a strong person. Yeah, don't like break his hand, but still be like a normal handshake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not to be too gentle at the same time, not to be too rough.
Exactly.
We talked about business etiquette, we interview etiquette. I think this feels something that is very important. It's talking about your basically talking about resumes, because you have actually that's what the employer looks before you enter the interview room. Also, in addition to the resume, I also think that the cover letter that you address to the employer also, right? Because not only talking about your interest or your skills, etc. Your cover letter would add to that, right? So could you guide us or throw some light on cover letters as well as resumes? Of
course. So the resume is even like before you meet each other in person. It's the first. It's the first non-personal impression of the business partner. So it should be drafted.
Could you say that word again? It's a non-business.
It's a non-personal impression.
Wonderful.
Yes. So like before he knows you in person, so that he knows that you're like a great character. He only has this paper where it's shown like you and your life. So then it needs to be something which is like that catches an eye. And so therefore it should be drafted in a logical and very clearly arranged and complete way. So that it's easy to read, that it's an eye catcher. So I can tell you now the points in the resume, all the topics which should be really important in Germany if you set up a resume. So point one. Oh, there's someone asking something?
Yeah.
Okay. So it needs to be clearly arranged. Like it needs to be in a good formatting. Like that you can see from A to Z, that you can see from 1 to 10. So, for example, it should be the education should be starting from school to university to work. Also, like don't mention like the dates. For example, I started school at the 1st of July 2000 something. Just mention years and months, and of course use pillars, like basic pillars, like points, education, for example, and then the next point would be practical experience, and the next point would be work. So we're gonna come back to that later. So
do I also need to mention the percentage of the grade that I have received in my examinations, or any particular subject that I have the best marks, etc.?
If you have a grade already there, depending on the importance of the grade. For example, if it's the finishing exam, of course you can put your grade inside there. It's no problem. But
for example, as far as I remember, in Germany, I guess I read somewhere you have summa cum laude, magna cum laude, cum laude.
Yes, this is great to mention. Yes,
it's good to mention.
It's very good.
So in India, we have like a gold medalist, or you have won some other award. So it's good to mention awards.
Yes, yes, it
leaves a good impression on them.
It is. So, coming to the points, start with your name and your address, like in the first place of the resume, start with your name, your address, where you're living right now, your number. And then you might give, it's not very important, but normally in Germany we do this, we give information about our parents, like you write the name for our mother, then her job, and where she's working, Hamburg, for example. And then next, the name of my dad, his work, and where he's located, Berlin, also Hamburg, whatever, okay? So it's not very important, you don't need to do this, but it's nice for the employer to see from what kind of house is, or from what kind of family is this.
You could say the socioeconomic background, is that?
Yeah, like, or just to have an idea, what kind of, like, what are parents working? Like, for example, are the parents working on, are they doing something physical? Are they doing something from an academic grade? You know, so it's nice, but it's not very important. So the next thing would be name your education. That means start from school. School, the year and the month maybe, but it's not that important. So just name the year, from when to when. The grade, always name the grade with it. Then go to university, from start to the end, also name your grade there. And of course, as you said, if you have a special degree on it, and if you did special projects, special degrees, special things, then just name them all. Like write them down, but write them down in a simple and way that you can see the details very easily and not get like lost in all the details.
So anything additional that you have done in addition to your education, or any additional certificate, diploma courses that you've done? You could probably mention those.
Please mention it. For example, if you had a main focus in your studies, for example, I had a main focus on European commercial criminal law, I wrote it down. And for example, if you wrote a diploma thesis, write down the topic. So it might be interesting for the one, like to know exactly, okay, what was your topic, what did you were focused on, what was your main focus on the
study? So that will basically give a point to the employer to discuss and have a conversation.
Exactly. Yes, so it might be very interesting because just imagine there are thousands of people applying. To be the special one, have an extra, have something more, be an eye catcher that he cannot like later you're drafting away and okay. So he needs to be like, oh, this is interesting. I did the same maybe in my youth, so this is good. So point 3, practical experience. If you did some internship, legal lectures, whatever, name it up. Not like starting from the first side job working in a restaurant or a shop or something, depending on where you trying to apply. But normally start with the big ones. For example, if you work in a lawyer office, if you work in any company which has a name, put the name, put the year, from when to when, and what did you do there? What did you do exactly? What were your duties? Did you draft a lot? Did you just, if you just went like with the boss to the court or didn't do anything your own? So just don't mention that. But if you did something, for example, you were drafting kind of papers, name it, like some special things.
So this gives me a cue to tell all the Indian students who basically going behind the lawyers, economics, carrying their files, to actually sit and read those files and do something in the office rather than just chit-chatting with other colleagues. This will help them build their resume.
Of course, like if you just, people, this is very important, a resume. Be aware that everything you do in life and everything that is practical work, like for example, you are doing an internship and your boss doesn't let you do much stuff. Ask for work. Try to get experience. Write something. Learn so that you can put it in your resume. Don't have your resume needs to be complete. It's not good if you have like a whole of like if there's nothing happening for a few months. Always try to do something. Always try to have experience that you can put on a paper later. Like something important. Like I did this. I wrote this. There's an article. Like I did this in this presentation. It's always good to do further more than other people.
So it's interesting you mentioned article. What exactly do you mean by that? You mean that the student should actually sit and read, research, write something during the school as well as while they're doing their internships?
I would always recommend doing something which makes you different than other people. For example, if imagine there's a yearly book of the university. Mm-hmm. Try to arrange the chance or try to get the chance to write an article in this book. So like a professional, a legal opinion or a professional article. Try to be special. Try to do special things and just don't sit at home or go to work and put up a coffee and then join the employer to the court, for example. Try to do something. Try to put something on paper and represent it.
Wonderful.
So point point 4 is it already? Put your work you did till today. So if you didn't put any work, the practical experience would be your last point. Otherwise, if you did some work, name it. Name again the name of the entity, the month, the year, and what were your exact tasks, your duties. What did you do there? What were your responsibilities? What kind of position did you have? I think that's normal. This is nothing. So, point 5, extra skills. Do you have any special knowledge in Word, Office, computer? Do you have extra languages? Languages are very important. If you have any chance to learn a language, and I mean, people learning a language is something you have to just you have to try. You have to work on that. You have to learn more open up. Learn English. Learn Spanish. Learn French. Learn anything.
Learn German.
Learn German. Please learn German. But it has to be your own. It has to come from your own. So you have to sit at home and study the language. No one's going to do it for you. Try to be better than others. Try to be better than all the other applicants that are applying right now.
You need to show something distinct from others.
Exactly.
So that you're the best.
You need to be an eye catcher. That's very important. And,
not an eye candy, but an eye catcher.
Yes, please don't be an eye candy. Especially for the ladies, don't put too much makeup and don't do like a décolleté or something. Short skirts. I'm sure you don't do, but please.
It's important to be
stay natural. Yes, professional, naturally. Don't be an eye candy. Okay, that was another one. So my last point would be, as I mentioned before, the extracurricular activities, hobbies. Do sports, do something extra. If you have the chance, work for an aid organization. Do something special. Don't be normal. Don't be like everyone else. Okay? Do something special. Do something about your life, and be ambitious about it. Work for it. If you want something, you will achieve it. So show that in your resume that you are doing the extra step. You're like looking outside of the box. You're going further than you should. Okay? That everyone is expecting. Just like really work on your life. Don't wake up at 10 o'clock doing nothing, watching TV. Just really work. Like use all the time. Use every year. Use every month. For example, I'm going to name you just an example on how I created my resume drafting. After school and after my legal clerkship, I had some time left, like a few months left. I had nothing to do. My school was finished. My legal clerkship was about to start a few months later, so there were like 3 months time. So in that time, I went to Brazil. And I thought to myself, okay, I can go to another country for holidays. It would be nice because I see the country, but it will not fill my resume. You cannot name holidays in a resume. So I went to another country and worked there. I worked there in an office. So this is something you can then mention in the resume, and like going outside of the country, going abroad, working abroad, it's a nice thing to name in the resume. And then the resume is complete. You don't have a space between August and December because you filled it up with work in another country, with another language, another program, another whatever you do, okay? So I hope you understand me what I'm trying to say.
Right, any international travel, any exposure to the world outside, widens your horizons, helps you know how to interact with people, and most importantly, helps you how to appreciate different cultures, and which I think is very important. I'm glad that you made that point. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So we're coming to our last point, the presentation skills. I think I will explain some personal skills, presentation skills, and of course, if you are hired and you're working with a company, how to do a presentation in a professional way to bring the topic near to the persons that are there, other business partners, for example. So the personal part, I think we had a lot of them already, like in the beginning, how to behave. There are just a few extra points that I would like to explain you about Germany. So in Germany, we have a formal way of talking to a person. and there's an informal way for saying, in English it's you and you, but in Germany it's you talking with the first name, and then it's you with the second and the second name. So decide, or you can for especially for example, if you just got employed, you always have to talk formal to the person, saying Sie means like Mr. whatever. Never start with the first name. And but reading about another point, social media. Be very aware that you could risk your reputation on social media. Use it decent. Like for example, Facebook. Never put work stuff on Facebook. This is for me. Like be always careful where you work, because you might cause big problems if you put any details from your work on Facebook. For example, posting, "Oh, I'm doing this right now in the office," or "Oh, my chef is such an ass," or something. Don't do this. And another very important point for me is, which I notice a lot. If you're talking to a person, if you're talking to a business partner, if you're talking to any person related to business, put your phone away while talking. If you talk to someone and you look at your phone while the other one is talking to you, it's disrespectful. I can tell you, people, it's very disrespectful. Put your phone off. Don't sit. And while it's telling, and then it's ringing, and you answer some messages and stuff, just leave it. If you have a conversation, leave the phone away. Focus on the partner, because many people are not multitasking. So please, be aware that this might be very disrespectful. And another thing for a personal presentation, if you're sitting with a partner on the table and you have a dinner or something, table manners. Like you have a business dinner to negotiate some parts. Wait until you ate. Wait until you finish eating. With the hard negotiations, just first try to get to know each other personally and watch your table manners. If you chew with an open mouth, or you put your elbows on the table, in Germany this means bad etiquette. So you might lose your position or the respect of the other one. It might be that the other one is having a bad feeling about you because you didn't behave well on the table. So coming to the, I'm sorry, here's a little window piercing. In Germany, if you hold a presentation and you were watching all your personal manners, the smiling, the shaking hands, and the business card thing, German business partners expect from the presentation a few things, which means they prefer that you name facts. Always when they do presentations, they want you to provide facts and references. And the second point, they want you to go with some examples and anecdotes. These are a few important points. So German people, if you hold a presentation in front of them, they want you to go further than only the announced information. So and into the points, they want facts, they want the references, they want examples, and maybe an anecdote, like a soft one. So be totally aware before you start holding a presentation in front of the German partner. What do they want? What do they expect? So coming to the presentation, there are 4 important points of the presentation. Do it simple, do it structured. Germans are fans of structure. Okay? Concise, and do it inspiring. Always give a little, as I said, give a little extra to it. Collect infos first, choose important ones, put some weight on it, structure it clearly so everyone can follow, and then think about the shape and design of the presentation. Going deeper now to the PowerPoint presentation. So just think about the presentation that you do in front of business partners. A presentation is like a present, so you provide some nice packed up information to it's a nice looking packed up information to the audience, to your business partner. So before you start, be aware of what you want them to know. Your achievement must be clear to yourself before you start. Second thing, who am I addressing to? Know what kind of people are sitting there. What is the audience? Do you know their motivation and interest? Be aware of it, and also have some pre-knowledge about them, of course, so that you might know what kind of questions they will ask after the presentation, and know what their expectations. So once you know all this, and you started doing, as I said, like collect the inputs, put weight on it, structure and stuff, we can come now, if you don't have another question, I could come now to the presentation itself.
Like yeah, please, I would be
very interested. So, presentation is structured in an introduction, the main part, the end, and the discussion afterwards. So for the introduction, of course, introduce yourself, introduce the topic, explain how you structured it so that they know where the story is going to, and try to get the interest of everyone. For example, if you start, use some pictures, use some anecdotes, use a story, use something like half personal so that everyone is like listening up and is getting interested into the topic. Here is very important, the medium is the message. So the way you present is the thing that the people are going to keep it in mind. Like if you just stand there and you look bored and you're like shaking around and you're explaining something to the air, nothing's going to keep that in mind. The medium is the message. Stand there and have something to show. So to the main parts, have a target. That everyone needs to know about the target of the entire presentation, to make that clear. Here also important the design and the schematic layout. And when you did this, the main points, like I think you have like a paper for each point. So always know that there should be more on the map, more on the paper than you were talking. So it's boring for everyone if you're like reading all this. For example, if there are a few topics on it and you just talk about those topics, try to have some extra information which means that they have to really listen to you. It's not only on the map.
So are you suggesting that people should just have bullet points on the screen rather than having text, which is filled with a lot of words?
Exactly, that is it. So some basic pillars. So coming to the end of the presentation, it would be nice like if you do a little conclusion, like about what you were talking to. So and then motivate them also to think further of this, like also for the next week, or to carry something home. Like motivate, give them a motivation, make them curious, especially in the end, so that when they go home, they have it still in mind. Say thank you, like normal, and then be open for discussions, be open for questions. So this is kind of it. It's very short right now, but this is kind of how.
But I have one quick question here. Sorry to interrupt, but
yes.
Question. Normally, after a presentation is all over, you, as I said, you open the forum for discussion, etc. But there could be one or two, people in the audience who would be interested in asking a question while you're still presenting.
Yes.
At the same time, when you're focused on your presentation, you might feel that, hey, I'm disturbed. This is kind of disturbing. I don't want you to interfere when I'm talking. Because somebody's asking questions. But at the same time, you don't want to be impolite to the person. So, how do you tackle this situation?
I would recommend you to be open to questions. Like, if you don't know the audience, don't do something like this, or just don't ignore it. Like, you could stop for a minute and say like, oh, I'm sorry, so I get back to you in a minute, or just be open for the question. Like, chill, be relaxed, calm, talk slowly, and be open for the question.
The whole idea is to have a conversation.
Yes.
Can you ask questions?
You could also say like, please leave the questions for before you start holding the presentation. You could say like, hold the questions to the end, so we can have a discussion afterwards. If someone is asking something which is really important at the moment,
someone is asking questions.
Yes. Just a second. This is a nice example. Someone is asking something. I will get back to this in a minute. So you can just be open for everything. So now we have a question of someone, and he's asking, how can I get the job in Germany? It's been 3 years, and I'm in practice right now. I'm working in Supreme Court. How can I get a job in Germany? Well, apply to it.
I would greatly suggest that, since I'm glad that first thank you for attending the seminar today. And as Clara has discussed earlier, I would strongly suggest that you look for opportunities in Germany. Look at different websites. Go to Monster, go to Stone.com, and see what exactly is, what are the advertised positions, and apply to those positions. And when you're applying to those positions, mention clearly that you're an Indian with an experience of 3 years, and what kind of job are you looking for, and try to set up a connection with the German firm or with the German employer, and ensure that you're interested and get in touch with them and take it to the interview process. And if you get to, and if you're the right candidate, you might land up in Germany. At the same time, I would also suggest, in case you're really interested in Germany, do learn a little bit German, and that will greatly help you in establishing a connection with the German firm or with the German employer. What do you think?
You need to put yourself into the position of the employer. Why would an employer hire you? Because just imagine, there are like tons of Germans, English, Americans are applying. Why would he hire you? What is special about you? If there is nothing special, more special about you than anyone else, make something special. Do something extra. Show him some extra activities, extra knowledge, extra skills that you have. So this is something you need to be aware of. Like, what is it? Why should I hire you? Because like if you did something very normal, like going to school, going to university, and so far that's it, you don't have any extra knowledge or extra skills, it might be hard for you. If you're not the best, if you're not having the best degree, it might be hard for you getting the job, because in the side of the employer and on the way of the employer, I mean, just imagine you were the employer. Why would you hire someone from another country who is not talking Germany and who's not talking German and has only experience like in a certain area? Like he needs to have a motivation to hire you.
Right.
So just before, yeah.
So I think you should have a more international perspective, and what kind of international work you can do, and you should be very creative and entrepreneurial, because the German firm would like to see that you're going to bring in great wealth of knowledge with you and content, and that you will take the firm to a different level with your international experience, and the firm could also benefit while you also benefit with an opportunity to work with an international firm.
So before we close this webinar, I would like to close also my point on this topic, the presentation skills. I just told you about how to hold a presentation in front of people, in front of the audience, for example, a PowerPoint presentation. Adding to that, I would like to give just a few points on the way how you present yourself in front of the audience, like the way your posture should be. So smile to the audience, look at them while you talk, like I do right now sometimes. Stand free, like don't lean on the wall or something, lean on the table. It's always important that you stand on your 2 feet. Stand comfortable, don't look too nervous, don't like shake around or do something like wild with your hands. Leave your hands, like if you don't know where to put your hands, don't put it in a pocket, please no. Do something like, for example, if I'm standing up right now, do something like this. Or as Angela Michael did this. So put your hands somewhere where you feel comfortable, but don't shake around. Like if you have an example, you can show them an example. You can mark something with your hands like this. Yeah, this is nice because people will keep that in mind, what you did with your hands. But don't like shake around the entire time. Don't swing backwards and forwards. And yeah. So, and also talk slowly. I know I talk really fast. It's something I need to work on. And especially for like the Indian people, as I said before, work on your accent so that everyone can understand you. Talk extra slow for Germans because they might be not used to your accent. Okay. Don't forget to name origins and resources of your presentation, what you were providing before. And yeah, that's it so far. So now I would open the round for any further questions.
We have one question from a student
yes.
here. Shushan Bali is asking. He's saying that as a student, if I go for an interview in a firm for an internship, what should I wear? And also for a PPT presentation.
You should be is it a girl or is it a boy?
It's a boy, I guess.
It's a boy. So as a boy, you should wear a suit and a shirt. Like here's a very, very nice example of what you should wear. Iron your clothes, wear something comfortable, but wear a suit and a nice shirt and a tie. Yes, please. Yeah. So this, yes.
I guess you can.
So, and as a girl, I'm gonna show you right now. Oh, such a good example. So, you see, wear a suit and a shirt. This is just that you feel comfortable, but be professional. And if you have any doubts, Google. Google just what to wear in an interview, or how do I. Before I came to India, I had no idea how Indian lawyers dress, for especially women. I was like, I didn't want to buy a sari or something for me, so I was wondering how can I dress properly without disrespecting the country. Like, of course, not wear a décolleté or something, or a short skirt, but I was like Googling some pictures, and in the end, this is how I look normally in Germany also. Just like a nice jacket, a blazer, it's called blazer in Germany, blazer, a shirt, anything like high, don't have a big décolleté. Shoes also, depending on, like flat shoes would be nice. Something which defines you, and something which is different than your normal life clothes. So thank you for the question. It was a good question. So,
any other questions?
Yes.
Students, attendees?
Yeah, is there anyone having another question, or did we answer anything?
I think we can wait for a minute and see in case anybody would ask us any question and wrap up the session. Thank you, Valerie. Very interesting. I think we covered.
My pleasure.
I really thank you for taking this time. And
oh, we have another webinar soon, so looking forward to it.
Great. So I think we are done with questions. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for attending the webinar.
Thank you. See you next time.